And this is, I'm Jacob Bloom and doing one of my walks of the streets of Arlington to benefit the Arlington Food Pantry. On Piedmont Street today, and today I have with me Andy Doan, the director of the Arlington Food Pantry, who's helping the good things get done, actually doing the work. Asked Andy to join me to tell about what the food pantry does and where the donations go and the good that they do.
Yeah, I'm so glad to join Jacob. It's a little crisp, cool morning, but beautiful with the sun out here, and glad to be walking the streets of Arlington, and specifically Piedmont Street, in memory of Jacob's longtime friend, to raise money for the food pantry. So the food pantry's actually been around for about 25 years. A lot of people don't realize that. It was started by a group of volunteers and churches who said, hey, we have folks in Arlington that are hungry and we want to make sure that everybody has food. So a group of volunteers got together, started the food pantry, and here we are 25 years later, still operating. You know, the people that come into the food pantry are oftentimes our neighbors and we don't even realize it. We have individuals who come in that are disabled and no longer able to work and just can't quite make ends meet on the disability check they may have. We have immigrants that come in who are new to our community and just need a little extra assistance to get through. And we have families, we have working families, single parent families, or even families that are working 2 jobs but need to use the pantry a couple times a year when their cupboards are bare. We had one particular family come in, and this one will grab your heart. So it was a woman with her 4-year-old daughter, and they were walking through the pantry, and the little girl looked up on the shelf and said, hey, there's pancake mix there. Can I have some? And our volunteer was like, sure. And then the volunteer was able to find a bottle of syrup to go with it. And the mom and the little girl left with about 4 or 5 bags of groceries that evening. And on the way out, the little girl looks at her mom and she looks at the groceries and she says, wow, Mom, look at all this food. She's like, my tummy doesn't have to be hungry tonight. And to think that there's a 4-year-old in Arlington that has experienced hunger, that knows what that is, just is really heartbreaking. And so that's why we're here. That's why we have about 75 volunteers and lots and lots of donors and community members who help stock the pantry, the shelves of the pantry, and raise money to ensure that no one in Arlington goes hungry. So yeah, that's why we're here, and I'm grateful for Jacob and this challenge he's put out to the community to say, hey, let's walk the streets and let's raise money for the food pantry.
Well, it is heartwarming to know that people are being helped, that there are children who don't go hungry because of it.
Yeah.
It's lots of parts to it that I didn't know about when I started.
Yeah, and I think just it's overwhelming, the generosity of the community. You know, with people that volunteer. We have many of our volunteers that have been serving for 20 plus years at the food pantry, which is remarkable. I mean, a lot of people are busy and there's seasons of life where you're not always able to commit to something, but we've got some great volunteers. We've also just have a lot of donors who say, hey, I have an extra box of pancake mix or pasta that I want to donate, or there's groups that are doing food drives all the time. And so yeah, we really live in a great community, and I'm just very blessed that we as a community in Arlington just say, hey, we want to make sure that there is enough food for everybody.
How long have you been working with the food pantry?
So I've been the director of the food pantry for just shy of 2 years, and interestingly enough, I'm actually the first director of the food pantry. There's been other folks through Health and Human Services in the town that have overseen it, but a couple years ago the town said, hey, it's time for the food pantry to have its own director. And so yeah, I work part-time then for the town to be overseeing the food pantry.
And we're at the other end of Piedmont Street. So thank you, Andy, and I hope people will be inspired to donate, and if you want to walk a street with me, I'd be delighted. So just make a donation and let me know if you want to join me.
And thanks, Jacob, so much for organizing this. We really appreciate your support.
Oh, my pleasure. To my camera operator, Julia.